Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here for my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football guy. You know what I need to do? Hang on one second here. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, Joe Bear, let's bring you down. Okay, there we go. I'm pointing to you every day, and can't nobody see you. There you go. Kind of can see you. Put the rat bird up there. There you go. That's better. Because a lot of y'all are like, what is he talking about, Joe Bear? Joe Bear was given to me by some great fans, Susie and her husband, at the NFL Experience at the Super Bowl in Miami. And I treasure all. I've got so much stuff that's been given to me from great fans and stuff. I have the best fans in the world, and I appreciate it. And I'm always pointing, but now that we have Rashid down here, I pulled the camera and everything is pulled forward so it doesn't get the panoramic view of everything that's there. So that's where you kind of miss them. So let me go ahead and let Joe Bear in the house. Today is a bad day for a lot of players. There's a lot of players that will be cut today. They have to be cut by 4 o'clock Eastern. So we're only talking about a matter of hours. Expect the guillotine to be striking hard and heavy this morning with the Dallas Cowboys. The process actually started last night, per Michael Gilkin. Center Alex Lindstrom was the first one, had been notified that he's been waived. He spent last year on the Dallas Cowboys practice squad. Beyond that, we had then defensive end Ben Bagu has been released. The 2019 second-round pick and former TCU standout, spent 4 years with the Colts. He's out of here. And, you know, we are cram-packed with defensive ends. It's a numbers game. And it's good and it's bad. It's good that we have so many good players that veterans will be released. It's bad for those guys that there's so many good veterans that they can't find themselves a spot on the roster. And they have also waived tight end Seth Green last night. Green was signed last October and spent most of the season on the practice squad. So we're starting from the bottom and working our way up. I still think that we may see some names that you recognize. I think Jabril Cox is going to be one of those guys that does not make it. That's just my own personal opinion. Jabril Cox came through with a lot of ballyhoo, a lot of hype, a lot of hope for him. But it seemed like once he tore that ACL that he was never able to really get himself in gear. And now we have better guys, younger guys, and so forth in the linebacker room that it's going to be hard. Boss Man Fat. This is another one that I think Boss Man, I don't know that he's going to make it. Seems like, here's the thing about Boss Man. One, he had the off-the-field issue and stuff, which he's taken care of. But Boss Man, so many times in coverage, I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or not, but he just looked like he played scared. He played well on special teams, but even on special teams, he would make sometimes catastrophic penalties. And here it was, the last preseason game. This is the last chance for me to go ahead and make a statement. And here we go, lining up offsides, another penalty. And I think that the Cowboys have a lot more depth that we didn't have before. And with Jordan Lewis getting close to returning and probably put on the PUP list, boy, you know what I'm talking about. Injured reserve, that they know he'll be coming back. And so I think that might be a spot that Kevin Joseph is let go as well. But we'll wait and see. We don't have to wait long to find out what's what and who's who. And we finally get down to the business of getting ready to play the New York Stinking Giants. Now, surprisingly, it's early this morning because I'm going to be hitting the road for a couple of days to the Red Brick House. Rashid is bent up, and he's up and at him and everything else. I don't know what he's doing over there behind the bar. Maybe he's already drinking, thinking about the Cowboys versus the Giants. But he said it's okay to talk about Daniel Jones. I'm still trying to understand what you were talking about. Why were you saying it's okay to talk about Daniel Jones?
Because y'all going to talk about him after the game. Daniel Jones is the reason why we won the game.
Oh, so you're saying we're going to talk about Daniel Jones because y'all are winning the game?
Yes.
Man, I need to lock the liquor cabinet because I think he's already drunk. He must be drunk.
No, that Thanksgiving game.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I would say that to the day I die. We had y'all up 14-7 or 14-0. We had y'all. But okay.
Moving right along, we've got plenty of time to talk about that. We've got 9 days, 12 hours, and 58 minutes until kickoff of the season. Of course, there is still the fallout of the Trey Lance thing. You know, it's crazy to me that people are still trade Dak. Dak is done. The thing that's crazy, here's the thing that's so crazy to me is people make assumptions and don't really know what they're talking about. When people say trade Dak, you don't understand that 99% of the NFL quarterbacks have no trade clauses in their contract, much like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has, you cannot franchise tag me again in my contract. So for the Cowboys, their only options, they have two options with Dak Prescott. You can extend him and hold on to him, or you can pay him this year and next year, and then he walks and you get nothing. That's it. That's it. And if you are holding on to him next year, you're paying him $59 million. I don't see where people think that Trey Lance is leverage. I'm sure Dak Prescott would be happy to take $59 million and go out the door. I mean, that's a hell of a severance package. And I don't see that happening. But then again, this year with the Cowboys doing the things that they're doing, nothing would surprise me any more than that. But that's the reality of it. You can let Dak walk with $59 million going out the door, or you can extend him. And to think that you can negotiate better because you have Trey Lance and that they would let him out, that's not how it's going to work. It's not. I'm sorry. It's Trey Lance is not the equation there. It's just not. It's just not. He can go out flush with cash and pick the team that he wants to go to. I don't see a problem here if you're Dak Prescott. You are still sitting in the driver's seat. All you have to do is stay healthy, knock on wood, and keep playing. There's a lack of quarterbacks out there. The fact that Sam Darnold went from the Jets to Carolina to being the backup at San Francisco. The fact that Baker Mayfield went from the Browns to the Panthers and now Tampa Bay and being a starter. To know that Carson went from the Eagles to the Colts to Washington and now maybe to Kansas City goes to show you there's always employment out there if you're a quarterback. And if you have the skill set that Dak Prescott, I know here in Dallas that Dallas Cowboy fans think he sucks. The narrative out there, I can guarantee you, if he went to another team, all of a sudden you'd hear about how good Dak Prescott is and how stupid the Dallas Cowboys were to let that guy go. But then again, what do I know? I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. That's right. So as I get ready to get out of here, let's hear yesterday on Trey Lance and Dallas Cowboys.
Trading for quarterback and former number 3 overall pick Trey Lance, sending a 4th-round pick to the 49ers. You need to hear both Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott after the deal this weekend.
Did you guys give Dak a heads up that this was coming? Did anybody in your organization give Dak a heads up that this was coming down?
No. We didn't tell anybody until we did it. Period. There was nobody that knew it. We told Mike after we'd done it. But my point is, we just wanted to get it done.
I can't say that I necessarily expected it, no. I understand that as business. I understand that they're probably on a timeline. They need to get something done. And as I said, he felt like that strengthened his team. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised by anything anymore. You've been in this league 8 years, been on this team. It's hard to say that I was surprised, to be honest with you.
Dan, what were you motioning to me?
Look at his face. Like, his body language, his face says, like, what the heck are we doing? Why are we doing this? I'm your unquestioned guy. I'm in a really important. So
No, Dan. Here's actually the take on that. I want to clarify something. People will say that, because of Tony Romo, that's the reason why Dak played well. But Tony Romo and Dak, it really was not. The rumors were that Tony Romo was not good to Dak. It was actually Butt Fumble who actually worked with Dak Prescott. And Dak vowed that he wasn't going to be that guy. Romo fans can get pissed at me and all that and so on, which is fine. But Dak wanted to make sure that his teammates, they were his teammates, his friends, and his buddies. And Dak has seen so many of his buddies gone, from Amari Cooper to Zeke Elliott. When you start looking around, the guys you were drafted with are now no longer there. I'm the only one. You start realizing your age and how precious the time is. And Will Grier was one of those guys that he really and truly liked. And knowing that he was calling the plays for the last game that Will Grier was playing with the Cowboys, and that he played so well. Now, let's be clear here. Shout out to Game Time Brian, who put it last night. He said, listen, Will Grier had his opportunities. He had 3 games. First 2 were not good. We're not good. So you look at the roller coaster ride and everything else, and you have to make the best decisions that you can for the team. There's nothing personal in football. It's always business. And it doesn't matter how much you like somebody or how much they're your friend. Football does not care. And so you see Dak Prescott in his emotions of losing another teammate, another friend. That's why he's like that with his face.
here's my thing. I think for Dallas, I understand the move. It makes sense. Your 4th-round pick for the number 3 pick of 3 years ago. To not tell your starting quarterback, the face of your franchise, is so dumb. So Jerry Jones, respectfully, you want me to believe that this is nothing in a situation where your quarterback is coming off of the worst season of his career. He's missed 17 games in the last 3 years. In his last 2 playoff appearances, he's lost and scored a combined 29 points. And he threw the most interceptions he has ever last season. And we as the public are supposed to think this is nothing, or we shouldn't talk about it, or you don't need to tell him.
One more thing, the contract next year.
$60 million hanging over his head. And I said this in the first hour. So one of the things that makes the quarterback position so unique is from the very moment you are named a quarterback, I don't care if you're 8 years old or you're 18 years old, you are taught this is your football team. You take control of it. It's ownership. You got to be vocal. Everything you do, everybody's watching. And so you take years and years and years to build that. And then to go take a situation and say we're going to add a person to that room or take away a person from that room and not tell you, it's stupid. Because quarterbacks are naturally going to go, how can you expect me to be unquestioned to be the leader of this football team and then make a move that directly impacts my ability to go lead that football team in some way, and you don't tell me at all? You don't give me a heads up? I haven't earned that right. We don't have a relationship where you at least can give me the notification that this is going to happen. But by the way, you want me to go play the best football of my career. And you want me to go lead us through the most difficult 5 months. Yeah.
Dan, you're asking questions that Jerry Jones has already given you the answer to. No, he doesn't need to have a conversation with Dak. No, he doesn't need to run it by him. And yes, for the next 5 months, Jerry Jones is going to expect Dak Prescott to lead this team. And you know what Dak Prescott should use this chance or use this opportunity to do? What? Go lead the team in spite of. He should walk into that locker room, embrace Trey Lance, and while embracing Trey Lance, let everybody in that locker room know that I'm still here. Let everybody in that locker room know I'm still present. I am still the guy. That's what Dak Prescott has to do.
There you go.
This is for us to talk about. And it is, because it's fun and it's confusing, because normally what we know is that the quarterback, especially when he is the guy, is in lock. It is dumb, but it's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones ain't tripping on what we think is dumb. Jerry Jones is going to do what Jerry Jones wants to stink and do. And Dak Prescott's job is not to run this team. Dak Prescott's job is not to make this thing a $10 billion company when Jerry Jones bought it for millions back in the day. His job is to win football games. And you know when Dak Prescott would never have to question if he's the unquestioned leader if he goes out and win a Super Bowl.
That's not true.
This is a conversation because we know that Dak played below the line last year. And so when Dak plays below the line and this happens, it's an issue. If the Philadelphia Eagles right now went out, got Trey Lance to back up Jalen Hurts, would we be having this conversation?
But
you know what the conversation would be? Exactly. So this situation is more about Dak Prescott than it is Jerry Jones. It's about Dak Prescott having to go out and prove what he needs to prove, having to go out and take total control of the quarterback position, having to go out and get past the divisional round. We're not having this conversation because Jerry Jones went and did a Jerry Jones thing.
Jerry Jones thing. I love it.
Because last year, Dak Prescott didn't do Dak Prescott things.
I agree. Here's my thing, RC.
By going out and making plays.
I totally agree with you. And this is the opportunity for Dak to do that. And again, I learned a little bit of this with the Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts situation. But I think about it like this. Hypothetically, they open up with the Giants and the Jets. Let's say they start 0-2.
Yeah.
And he doesn't play great. All you're doing now, if you're Jerry Jones and the Dallas
he's not going to be ready.
Taking your quarterback and your coach, who you told nothing about this, and instead of, hey, we got to play better. It's a long season. We got Arizona coming up. We got to take it one game at a time. Dak knows he's got to play better. You will start to field questions about this situation. You will start to have to answer of, I'm telling you it'll happen. It'll happen. And that's why.
He's going to leapfrog Cooper Rush. Come on.
Let me get Darlington in. Go.
I want to agree with you, Dan, but this happens everywhere in the NFL all the time, and we just expect the starter to step up. I mean, in a totally different kind of market, Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee the past 2 years has had to fend off draft picks each year in Will Levis and Malik Willis the year before that, and he has, and it's no big deal. He's the starting quarterback, paid the big money to do exactly that. If Dak Prescott can't fend off the questions about Trey Lance, who was a failed backup quarterback with the 49ers, then maybe he shouldn't be the starter.
There you go.
Dak Prescott can handle this, and he will handle this.
I don't disagree.
Exactly.
Hold on, real quick. The difference, guys, is Ryan Tannehill, Jeff, was coming off leading Tennessee to the 1 seed and being a career
and losing the first game in the playoffs.
And I agree with you guys. It's a great opportunity. This is not a question of is Dak mentally tough enough for this. But when he's answering those questions, look at his face. He's sitting there going, I really got to answer this question because I didn't know anything about it. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to take his job. What I'm sitting here saying is,
what are you saying then?
Coming off his worst season, for a guy that's missed 17 games in the last 3 years, for a guy that has a $60 million contract hanging over his head, and the questions of, is an extension going to happen?
I wish I had $60 million hanging over my head.
In no way give him a heads up, whether you want the move to happen or not. It's dumb to do that to your quarterback. I'm not budging off that.
Dan, it might be dumb. It might be dumb, but it can also be genius if you approach it in the right way. Because you know how I would approach this if I'm Dak Prescott? Well, you're telling me I have something to prove. Because here's why when you make a decision, you go ask your wife, Dan. This is why you call Tiff. Because Tiff is doing what the hell she's supposed to be doing. If Dak Prescott was doing what the hell he was supposed to be doing, that's the conversation you have with him. Maybe for the Dallas Cowboys, they're saying it's been too easy around around here. It's been easy street. We've given you the keys to the kingdom since Tony Romo got hurt. Maybe you should have a little pressure. Maybe there should be somebody behind you that can play. Maybe you have to prove to us this is your position.
Great point.
Now go do it. They didn't bring Trey Lance in and say, hey, Trey, you're the starter. As soon as Dak messes it up, it's going to be you. No, they got depth.
Yep.
They got some depth. That's it. This is the dude that couldn't beat out Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold. I'm not scared of that man. The only way Dak Prescott is not the starter is if Dak Prescott doesn't play well. Maybe that's the message you're trying to send. The message we're trying to send is we don't rock like that right now, where I feel the need to have to come tell you this. You don't have that sort of holder position where I got to consult with you. I'm not asking for forgiveness.
They didn't with Aaron Rodgers.
For permission neither. Now go play the position.
There you go. They didn't with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. They didn't. And Aaron Rodgers had a hissy fit the whole time. But that's the way it is. It's always different when it becomes the Dallas Cowboys. And as Rashid says, y'all going to talk about Daniel Jones. We going to talk about him, all right? We going to talk about him. Yeah. All right, good people. I got to hit the road again because, you know, the work always is there.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the show for the Sports Report.
It's been one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is